This weekend, all eyes turn to Montana, with Beyond the Map's Edge author Justin Posey hosting a massive book signing in Dillon. The atmosphere is electric. Hundreds, maybe thousands of treasure hunters are converging, maps in hand, theories at the ready, and a sense of finality in the air. Some claim they've cracked it, that the poem, the clues, the coordinates, all of it has finally pointed them to the location. They're not just close, they're convinced. But here's the question. Is the treasure truly about to be unearthed? Or will it stay hidden a little longer, waiting not for the loudest voice in the room, but for the one person quietly solving in the background? Will this weekend bring the final dig or just another twist in the tale? Stay tuned. The map is still open, and the edge might be closer than we think. I think I've cracked it. Not just a piece, the whole thing. Using only the poem from Beyond the Map's Edge, I believe I've uncovered the answer. And I'm not in Montana. I'm not even in America. I'm in the UK, across the Atlantic. But even from here, the clues are clear. At the end of the documentary, Justin Posey says just one word: West. It's not a throwaway line. It's a signpost. And in my theory, it leads us to the farthest west you can go before the sea swallows the land, to Mount St. Helens. The poem didn't feel like a poem. It felt like a riddle. So I read it backwards. Wonder guards this sacred space. To me, wonder means awe, a mountain. And just north of Mount St. Helens, you'll find Spirit Lake, guarded, sacred. Beyond the reach of time's swift race, swift reservoir, to the south. So the treasure lies north, beyond it. Secrets of the past, double arcs of granite bold. Volcanoes are windows into Earth's past. And MSH? She's famous for her twin ridges. Two arcs of stone, curving in like parentheses carved by fire. Return her face. She lost it in the blast. Her foot of 3 at 20 degree. Zoom out. There, on satellite view, 3 distinct foothills. The middle? Looks like a foot, 3 toes. Measure from the summit. It lies at a perfect 20-degree bearing. From here, I believe we go east, to the Lewis River. Lewis, as in Clark, as in Carroll, writers of journeys, of edges, of unknown maps. Where water's silent flight. At the Lewis River lower falls, water seems to float, not fall, a silent descent, like an offering. Then, a rock, a hard place. Just off to the side, there's a narrow overhang, tucked in, hidden, silent. Or maybe it's not at the falls. Maybe it's downstream, at Speed Trailhead. Can you find what lives in time? Speed, urgency, a race against time. This is the kicker. Look again at the logo. Rotate it. What you think is a corner is a mountain. And just beyond it, where the lake curves like an X, that's Spirit Lake. I'm not there. I can't go. But if you do, and if I'm right, then please, be honest. And maybe we'll split the treasure. Not just the gold, but the story. So I called the bookstore in Dillon ahead of this weekend's Beyond the Map's Edge book signing. And guess what Debbie told me? Anywhere from 1,000 to 3,000 people might show up. That's not a typo. Thousands. She strongly recommended reserving a copy of the book ahead of time because, yep, they might run out. And if you're just planning to walk up and grab one, you might be standing in line all afternoon. Oh, and because of the crowd size, Justin is pre-signing some of the books, which isn't ideal if you wanted that live signature moment. But let's be real, the guy might not survive 3,000 handshakes. Just wanted to drop this here so nobody gets caught off guard. Plan ahead, bring water, bring patience, and maybe bring your theory in case you end up talking treasure while waiting in line. Let the Montana madness begin. Will someone walk away with more than just a signature? Welp, one of the hunters just hit us with a masterclass in confident condescension. Let's all take notes on how to properly use this channel. The treasure location is so obvious once you see what the double arcs really are. I was sure once I saw the checkpoint. All of you have been looking in the wrong places and thinking all the wrong things. I'll be going there this weekend, and I'll have it within 15 minutes of parking my car. I'm sorry for ending it so quickly for you all. Ah, yes, the sacred ritual of pre-gloating. We love to see it. Step 1. Email Justin immediately to let him know you've solved it. Step 2. Announce publicly that you'll have it within 15 minutes of arrival. Step 3. When you return empty-handed, vanish like a whisper. Optional Step 4. Make a brand new Discord account so no one remembers your pre-fizzle glory. Classic. Anyway, we'll keep a watchful eye on the "I got it" turned "I got humbled" arc this weekend. It's all part of the show. Someone pointed us to Great Falls, Montana, and the clues? Stacked. A three-legged bear statue stands tall on the River's Edge Trail, pointing west, where the trail starts. But head east, and you literally go beyond the map's edge to Sulphur Springs, a Sacagawea healing site left off the printed trail maps. Justin collects coins. You think it's a coincidence Sacagawea's on the golden dollar? There's even a faceless statue of Sacagawea at the trailhead. Ursa Major and Minor, anyone? The real kicker? One of the images on Justin's monitor might actually show Sulphur Springs in the fall. Then there's the clock in the dock. Turns out those numbers match exact dates from the Lewis and Clark expedition. April 3rd, 1805. They're navigating the Missouri River. April 12th, 1805. They leave Mandan villages. The journey gets real. June 6th, 1805. They leave Great Falls. And what sits near Great Falls? The Missouri River, the River's Edge Trail. Granite features used as markers. A gold rush town. And yes, it's also near the Big Hole River, where Sacagawea once passed through. Fly fishing capital. Past the hole? Cast your pole. It's all here. What you seek, you already know. Maybe the answer was baked into American history all along. The user said they couldn't get there, but someone else still can. And if this theory's right, this might be the one that got away. At the risk of overposting, never a real risk in this channel, we may have a wild one. User report. Once the smart meds hit, I locked in like a hawk. And what did they lock on to? The book cover. Yup. The actual cover art of Beyond the Map's Edge might not just be pretty graphics. It might be cartographic gold. Location match? Idaho-Montana border, center point, Flathead Reservation, and the spine of the image? It might just line up with Lookout Pass, St. Regis Lakes, and the showstopper, Wonderful Creek and Wonderful Mines, which leads to the all-time line. 'Cause wonder guards this place, and am I right? You're right. You're totally right. Even if you're wrong, it still feels right. Add in the keywords from the poem scattered around the region, and suddenly that just graphic design starts to feel a little less innocent. Whether it's coincidence or hidden in plain sight brilliance, this theory gave us joy. And as far as wonder goes, we're here for the wonderful theories every time. 2 weeks ago, one brave hunter hit the road. 3 days of BOTG across eastern Wyoming and a wild side trip to New Mexico. Stop number 1, the Black Hills, south of Beulah, Wyoming target, where Sand Creek and Cold Springs Creek meet. It looked like the perfect confluence on Google Earth. Crystal clear water, trout vibes, poetic symmetry, reality check. Looked like water in 3D Earth. Turned out to be a dry wash. Yup, no water. Just dreams. Still, our hunters searched carefully a full mile each way between the mountain sidewalls. Nada. So it was time for Plan B. Walk to the private trout spawning area and learned a trout hole is just a small, swirly spot where trout apparently pile up from exhaustion. If you're writing a metaphor for this whole treasure hunt, there it is. Stop number 2, Alamogordo, New Mexico, aka Saguaro Spear or Streetlight. Google Earth showed a poetic entry point near Tucker Canyon, a possible resting place, maybe even tied to the dog story. On the satellite map, a narrow canyon, a lone marker, possibly a saguaro cactus guiding the way. In real life, it was a streetlight pole, a very tall one, and that majestic entry path. A vertical drop, straight down, 2 stories. A man with a broken leg could never manage it. So, not ideal. Conclusion? Google Earth 3D is good, but being there, it's very different. And honestly, this trip wasn't a bust. It was a reality check wrapped in trout wisdom, elevation fails, and wild hope. Sometimes the poem reads true, but the terrain laughs anyway. That's why BOTG matters, and why we all end up back to the books. One online treasure hunter shared these theories. In the spirit of grandma's hands weaving invisible threads, I'm calling this theory my latest woven thread, focused on the first half of stanza 3 from Beyond the Map's Edge. This isn't a full solve, just a working idea I've been following for a while. A couple of weeks ago, I went boots on the ground to explore this area, and I've included some photos I took while hiking. Now, I'd love to hear everyone's thoughts on this. For reference, I'm matching each stanza of the poem to real-world locations, using either the centroid of a triangle or compass-based intersections, with the hope that these physical reference points will eventually converge on the final location. Now let's look at the stanza. In Ursa East his realm awaits. His bride stands guard at ancient gates. Here's my thinking. When I see Ursa East, I don't think constellations. I believe it refers to the east unit of the Absaroka-Beartooth Wilderness. The phrase, his realm, immediately reminded me of the story of the Bandit King, who was caught with one paw in the cookie jar. There's also a reference to someone guarding something like it was the last cookie in the jar. 67.3 miles per hour. Interestingly, the Beartooth Scenic Highway, from Silvergate to Red Lodge, is exactly 67.3 miles long, according to. That's what led me to believe that Beartooth Mountain is his realm. It's central, prominent, and visually commanding from the Beartooth Pass overlook. It feels like the king of the region, a literal high point in his wilderness. Now the next line, his bride stands guard at ancient gates. To me, his bride is Mount Rearguard. It quite literally has the word guard in its name. It's positioned to the east of Beartooth, and geologically the two mountains are connected, almost as if they're married. Together they flank what I believe to be the ancient gates, a natural entry point into the Hellroaring Plateau. That area is steeped in history with a reputation for being wild, sacred, and remote. It fits. Some of you might be wondering why I'm stopping here, and that's fair. The second half of this stanza, especially the line her foot of 3 at 20 degree, is rich with clues, but that deserves its own breakdown. True. That part started to come together for me with the help of Shadow Feet, and I'll follow up with those thoughts in a future video. For now, I'd love to know what you think. Is Beartooth Mountain his realm? Is Mount Rearguard standing guard at those ancient gates? Drop your thoughts below. And as always, happy hunting. It's not all sunshine and hiking. Here is a post from a burnt-out hunter. Good morning, treasure hunters. This is a burnout post, a long one, but not a negative one. In fact, I want to start by saying I'm grateful. Grateful that I got to participate in this wild, creative, challenging hunt. I'm thankful for the memories I've made, the people I've met, and the small moments out there, on the trail, under the sun, by the river. And I hope you're enjoying your part of the journey too, whether that's digging through research at home or getting your boots dirty out on the ground. I really do. But I want to talk about something that I think more of us are feeling than we're saying out loud. Burnout. This is just my opinion, and it's only a prediction. But I think this treasure will take many, many years before someone finds it. And not because the clues aren't out there, but because I truly believe the hider didn't want this to be stumbled on by accident. They wanted it to be found by someone who was all in, who gave it time, dedication, obsession, and I was there. For weeks, I was spending hours a day, pouring through books, websites, maps, Discord threads, social media posts, anything I could get my hands on. I even booked a few flights, crossed multiple states, put myself out there. But when I actually got out of the car, started walking around, started looking with my own eyes, I realized something. It's different when you are actually there. And after all of it, I burned out. Hard. I've taken a break for about a month now. Haven't checked the poem, haven't rewatched the videos, haven't marked up any maps. Just stepped away. What surprised me most is how quickly the switch flipped. One moment, I was completely absorbed. The next, I barely noticed when a post showed up in my Facebook feed. Have any of you felt that? That weird emotional swing from being totally inside the mystery to barely thinking about it at all? And if you have stepped back, were you disappointed, or was it just time? Did you feel like you failed? Or did you feel lighter? I guess I'm just curious. I know we don't talk about this side of the hunt much, the quiet in-between phase, the regrouping. So if you're watching this and you're feeling tired or stuck or unsure if you're even part of this anymore, you're not alone. Thanks for listening. I'm not done forever. I don't think any of us ever really are. But for now, I'm just resting. And I hope that wherever you are in your search, you're finding peace too. Take care and happy hunting whenever you're ready. This person just reminded us that there is no race, no scoreboard, just the poem, the trail, the learning, and that sometimes the best way to stay in the hunt is to walk away for a little while. So here's my response to them, and maybe to you if you're in that same place. Thank you. Thank you for being honest enough to admit you were tired and brave enough to return on your own terms. This treasure hunt pulls us in deep. It asks a lot from us, our time, our creativity, sometimes even our sleep and sanity. But it also gives us something rare. It gives us a reason to wonder, a reason to explore. So if you're watching this and you're burned out, it's okay. Take a break, take a breath. And if, or when, you come back, the trail will still be there, waiting. All right, y'all. Someone out there is definitely cooking something up. And I don't mean Justin. We've got a new post from a fellow treasure hunter that reads like a slow burn action movie with just a dash of Indiana Jones. And let me tell you, it's got my gears turning. I am comfortable enough, I hope, to share something very cool I discovered BOTG last week. This hunter started like so many of us, in a garage in Baltimore, mapping out a theory. That was back in April. But they couldn't hit the ground until last week. So what did they do in the meantime? Obsessed, like the rest of us. They tore through 50-plus locations, cross-referenced chapter titles, page numbers, animals, dates, celestial events, similes, allegories, you name it. They even tried forcing random map points just to see if anything else could hit the way their original solve did. Spoiler, nothing else hit. Then finally, they made it. And they say when they reached their spot, the poem started unfolding in real time. It required no tools, just one hand in my pocket and the other manning a GoPro. Okay, that line alone deserves a slow clap. Because if this is legit, we might be dealing with a boots-on-the-ground experience that lines up perfectly with both the poem and the book. And here's the wild part. A portion of my solve was celestial, but the entire poem worked perfectly on the ground too. So not just star-based theory, not just map theory, a dual-track solution, sky and earth, clicking together in a single place. Now obviously, they didn't dig it up, not yet, but they said there's something at the checkpoint that made them turn around. Head back home to work things out. And the vibe? They didn't sound disappointed. They sounded close, like smelling it in the air close. So here's my question for you. Have you ever had a solve like that? One where everything else falls away and it just clicks? Did it stick? Did it fall apart later? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you're the hunter who posted this, respect. Whatever you're cooking, it smells like adventure. Stay curious, stay safe, and as always, happy hunting. All right, treasure hunters, we've got a fresh boots on the ground report, and this one comes straight from the field. Someone just returned from their first BOTG trip, and they've got a theory for Stanza 2 they want to share. And honestly, it's packed with solid observation, poem references, and some curious physical finds. Let's break it down. Where water's silent flight begins, past Firehole and Iron Springs Grace, the path grows narrow, soft and thin, as shadows guard the sacred place. This hunter is working with the idea that each stanza corresponds to a real-world location, and that those spots can be plotted and triangulated to find the treasure. So for stanza 2, here's how they mapped it out. Start point, Secret Valley Creek. They believe water's silent flight refers to this spot, a poetic name in a remote-feeling location. Careful upstream traverse beneath the bridge slips sideways into Iron Springs domain, where silence held court. And under that bridge, they found an unused fire pit with a 1998 penny placed on top. Might be nothing, might be something, but it certainly didn't feel random to them. Midpoint, past Firehole, toward Iron Springs sound familiar? Our quest drew us beyond the Firehole to Iron Springs, tucked against the Gibbon River like a secret note pressed between pages. This beautifully matches imagery from the book. Iron Springs is located right near the Gibbon River. Remote, overlooked, and yes, silent. Endpoint, Harlequin Lake trailhead. This is where things get clever. The hunter connects. Harlequin equals colorful duck to bright and flight Tuckers. Where is it? Photo was taken in the parking lot across from this trailhead. And metronome set to celebrate is interpreted as a reference to the song Celebration by Kool and the Gang, with a tempo of 123 beats per minute, matching mile marker 12.3 near this spot. Now nothing was found. Not yet. But the trail felt real to them. They described the entire area as feeling like it was guarded, full of metaphorical shadows and literal silence. So now it's your turn. What do you think? Anyone else explored Secret Valley Creek? What's your take on Harlequin Lake as a poetic endpoint? And is the penny under the bridge a coincidence or a breadcrumb? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you've gone BOTG near Firehole or Gibbon River, let's compare notes. Until then, stay safe, stay sharp, and as always. Okay, we have to talk about this post that just dropped because the excitement, contagious. One treasure hunter just secured their signed copy of Beyond the Map's Edge from the Bookstore in Dillon, Montana. And let me tell you, the emotional roller coaster is real. Let me read you the highlights because this post has everything. Heartfelt gratitude, light car sobbing, and full-on shout-outs to small-town legends. Just ordered my signed copy of the book from the Bookstore in Dillon, MT. Debbie is an angel sent from heaven, and you can't tell me otherwise. I was pretty bummed not being able to make it to the signing, but the fact that I will still be able to get a signed copy while all the way in Fresno, California, and only had to pay a $5 shipping fee feels like robbery. Then this line. Now I know how Justin felt when he found that Apache territory map as a kid at Grace's for less than $10. Yes, that's the kind of full-circle treasure hunt emotion we live for. Honestly, this is what it's all about. Not just solving poems or hiking to hidden valleys, but moments like this. That thrill of getting your hands on something that matters. Whether it's a signed book, a coin, or a 67.3-mile stretch of asphalt with your name on it. And I love that they took the time to shout out Debbie from the Bookstore. Because let's be real, Debbie has now reached mythic NPC status in this community. Now, quick PSA straight from the post. I don't know how many signed books are left, so if you're watching this and you can't make it to Dillon this weekend, call the Bookstore ASP. $5 shipping, personal treasure, support a small business. Boom. To the poster. Thank you for sharing your joy with the rest of us. To Debbie, you're doing a great service to the community. To Justin, keep weaving stories that turn into real-world magic. And to the rest of you, what are you waiting for? Call the shop, grab your copy, and maybe go sob in your car for a minute. You've earned it.